Hey everyone, welcome back to Listen to May. Almost forgot what this was called for a moment. I don't know what episode this is, to be honest. It's been a while since I've been on here. I'm almost nervous to do this episode because it's a solo pod and I haven't done one of those in a while. So I do have notes for once. I do know what I'm talking about, but it's not really like a fun little rant or free-flowing conversation. I am going to talk about college, but all kinds of sides of it. So first off, hope everyone is doing well if you are listening. I actually don't know how many people listen to this, so it might be a little bit of a Mary Claire is talking out loud, like thinking out loud to herself thing. Maybe you will relate to what I'm saying. And I hope you can get something out of this. If you do relate, it is January 2024, so I wanted to talk a little bit about New Year's resolutions. But I hated New Year's resolutions for a while. I feel like they can be very toxic. And like a lot of people know that, you hear about people who are like trying to lose weight and then other people being like, that's toxic. And that's something I don't really support. That's a whole thing. I want to do another episode about like intuitive eating or something, but there's like the very obviously toxic kinds of New Year's resolutions that it's easy to like know to stay away from. But I feel like it's also very easy to take something like wanting to be more clean or like clean once a week and have that be a resolution that ends up being like not obsessive per se, but that can be like almost controlling. Like you're trying to control this part of your life that you just want to be better, which makes sense, but then you end up feeling like it has to happen. And if you don't do this at the beginning of the year, then you failed. And I like a more flexible mindset on that. Like, let's say I'm trying to clean my room more. I don't want to set a quote unquote like SMART goal, like the whole SMART acronym, like the sustainable, blah, blah, blah. Because like, yes, I want a sustainable goal, of course, that will be timely and all of the letters that SMART stands for, that acronym. But I think having more flexible New Year's resolutions that don't feel like a hard and fast rule actually helps me stay on them more the like baby step approach of like, I do want my room to be clean this semester. I think that would be nice, but I don't want to set a rule of like every Sunday I will do this and this, because life happens and it doesn't always work out like that. And then when it doesn't, as soon as you get off track with it, it feels like giving up. It feels like it's time to give up because, I didn't do this 1 week. Now I'm like, I might as well stop. So I feel like for a goal like that, my general goal is to just be more intentional with my space and my time, which is so vague, I know. But what I mean by that is like, I'm not really worried about cleaning my dorm room all the time. I know it's going to get messy at times because exams happen and life happens. But what I'd like is to maybe be more intentional with my morning cleaning, like making my bed every day. Just having that part of my routine so that it doesn't feel like a goal every day that I have to check off, but it's just kind of part of my routine of what I do. And maybe same with laundry. I feel like laundry piles up a bit, but that's okay. But really what I want is flexible goals that are intentional about like how I want to feel with them, but that also include flexibility and allowance for days where those goals just don't work out. And self-compassion for times when, I'm not as clean or I don't make my bed that day, and I can be kind to myself about it and say, you know what, this was a really busy week. This is okay, instead of feeling like I've messed up the resolution. So I guess that's just my little rant about resolutions, but my actual resolution is that I don't want to be going on my phone in bed. Have I broken this already? Yes, I have. But that's okay, because once again, breaking that resolution does not mean that it's time to give up. I just want to be more intentional with my screen time and feel like, once again, my morning routine isn't just me grabbing my phone. I want to have a routine of some sort, even if that's just kind of getting out of bed after 5 minutes, making my bed, and then going to like wash my face and get ready. Because I don't think that the hard and fast rule would help me. I think if I told myself, wow, I just messed up. I went on my phone in bed this weekend and now I feel bad about that. It would kind of make me want to throw the whole thing out the window because, I don't want to feel bad about that. But when I can say, this was just, I was sick that day. I wanted to go on my phone a bit and that helped wake me up. Then I know that that was just that day. So far I have actually been able to go on my phone a lot less in bed, and it has really helped my mornings. I was sick at the beginning of the year, just for a few days. And so I was like on my phone and in bed a lot during that period, and that's fine. But besides that, I've noticed my screen time going down, and that it doesn't just make me feel good to see that number going down, like the screen time number, you get your weekly report on your phone. It makes me feel good to know that I used my morning to do what I actually wanted to do. Even if I just laid in bed for a while and just kind of dozed off, I know that that's more what I wanted to do than just going on my phone. I love my phone. I love going on Instagram and scrolling, but I also know that I don't feel good when I do that first thing in the morning. So even if I don't stick to that hard and fast, I want to just be more intentional with like what I do first thing in the morning. Not even because it sets the tone for the day, just because I feel like that's where a lot of time can be wasted, or not even wasted, just like a lot of time can be taken. And then my other New Year's resolution is to exercise consistently, but in ways I enjoy, because once again, there can be very toxic mindsets around like, I am going to exercise more, and it can start off as like this really good intention of like, I want to feel good in my body and like move and sweat and feel and get endorphins and feel really good. But I know, a lot of people struggle with that kind of ending up controlling them. And then you can feel like bad for rest days when really rest days are normal. And I like the idea of an exercise routine that is purely for joy. Like the other day I went to a cardio dance class at the Virginia Tech gym just because I didn't really have a lot to do that day, and I went with my roommate, and it ended up being probably the most fun like exercise I'd done all year, not just like 2024, like all like for the past year. I also didn't put like pressure on myself to really go. I was just like, oh, this sounds cool, I'll probably go. And it ended up being so fun, and I realized that there are like ways I love cardio, but running is not it. But I love the exercise classes at Tech. They're actually very good. So I think that that's like one of the ways I'll be able to like make exercise a consistent part of my routine in a way that like really just does help me, just because it's fun. Okay. So that's my little New Year's segment, but I also wanted to kind of do the whole like what I'm liking right now, but not like the 3 things saving my life. I just want to talk about some fun stuff, So first of all, Victoria Garrick Brown. She's like the one influencer I actually like. Nothing against influencers. I just don't really have like ones I particularly like. They get a bad rap of being like having cushy jobs and everything, and I get that. But I like Victoria because she talks a lot about intuitive eating and like this kind of thing, and like having the right intentions behind exercise, because she's gone through a lot, and she's come out the other side and like learned a lot about herself, and in the process she's like telling everyone else about like things she learns. Like she talks about how she had a period where she just like didn't want to exercise, and then how she's finally getting back into it, and then she's talking about how she's doing that and sharing her tips to like enjoy movement and things like that. I just love her. She's also so fun. She's a Swiftie. I love following her on Instagram and seeing her outfits. She does Vix Fits. So if you're just looking for a positive person to follow on Instagram or a good podcast to listen to, she has Real Pod. So go follow Real Pod. But yeah, follow Victoria Garrick Brown. She's awesome. Oops, sorry. That was loud. Okay. So I love her. She's awesome. And then I also really, really want to talk about Walmart. I had not gone to Walmart until college just because I didn't have any near me. But I want to just hype up the Walmart, like, pantry cart I bought yesterday. Obviously, I have, like, a dining plan. I'm on campus. But I have, like, oatmeal and applesauce and granola bars and that kind of thing. Like, pantry items. And I finally bought organization for it. And it makes me so happy. Maybe that will be, like, the cover of this episode. But I have this cute little cart now that I set up. It was $15 at Walmart, so shout out Walmart for being great. But it's like this little 3-tiered plastic cart, and I have like my snack section, my breakfast section, and I don't even know how to describe how happy it makes me. I love organization. It makes my brain like happy and feel organized, to have my space organized, and that's like one small way I feel like I can make my day easier and just more fun, because who doesn't love a cute little rolly cart from Walmart? I also found out that there's an Aldi near Tech, which is such an exciting discovery for me, because I haven't been to Aldi a ton, but they, have great cheap groceries that are pretty high quality, but also this means that I can like easily get just like a lot of groceries for the week and be able to eat like breakfast in my room. No hate to breakfast at Tech, it's good, but sometimes it's just way more convenient to eat in my room before a class. And as much as I love cereal and oatmeal, they do get boring. So I feel like having a good grocery store near me means that I can just kind of stock up on a lot of pantry items and get fresh fruit and fun things like that. And if you know me, you do know I love grocery stores. So I'm just really, really excited to go to Aldi and look around and have that be like one of my errands, but also honestly something I'm really going to enjoy. So I love Aldi. It's so great. I'm still really sad that there's no Trader Joe's around here. I know that they don't have Trader Joe's because it wouldn't be profitable in the summer, because I am in a college town. However, I hope that someday there will be a Trader Joe's here, or I'll just have to move to a Trader Joe's. That's what I figure. Okay, now the real meat of what I'm going to talk about today is college life. So a lot of people, if you're listening, are probably just my friends from high school and people like that, and you're in college. So maybe you'll understand this or feel this, or maybe you're like thriving in this area and you will be like, no, I don't understand any of this. I've never experienced this. But maybe you've been to college and maybe you're in high school. I don't know, but this is just my experience. And that is that as much as I do feel really grateful for the friends I've made, I feel like I still feel lonely sometimes. And obviously loneliness is just a part of life. But I was just listening to a Real Pod episode about loneliness and how hard it is to make friends in your 20s. And it's definitely easier to make friends at college just because you're surrounded by people your age. I'm not even saying it's hard to like find people, but it also is, because I think I went into college with this idea that like, I was just gonna like find people in my hall and be friends with them forever. And I had just joined like these 3 clubs, and those clubs would be perfect, and everyone in those clubs would become my best friend. Obviously I didn't think that exactly, but like a little bit. And honestly, I found a lot of friends in CCM in my Bible study, and I love those people. They're wonderful. But I think even then, like, it's hard to make new friends, Everyone's experienced this. Everyone's gone to a new school at some point. But I don't think people give enough credit to how, like, much mental work there can be in like making a new friend. Like, for instance, what did I write down here? Oh yeah, I feel like I can put a lot of pressure on myself, like when I make a new friend, to like figure out when I will invite them to things, and like have this whole master plan of like, okay, I'll like host an event and I'll like ask them to lunch and I'll do this. And planned things are wonderful, but I think there's almost this pressure, probably from myself, not really from other people, to just like make sure I have events to go to and am eating dinner with people all the time and don't eat alone. When in reality, like, I love when I get dinner with people, but I also, like, a lot of my meals at school are alone, and I'm okay with that. But I think I put pressure on myself to plan things out and make sure I'm eating meals with people. And of course, like, sometimes you do need that plan. You need to, like, have that goal and keep yourself in check and be like, yes, I will see my friends because I'm busy and it's easy to forget. But I think with new people, it's so easy to feel like, I met this person, they seem cool, we have to be friends now, and I need to make that happen, when in reality, of course, friendship is both people deciding they are enjoying each other's company and they spend more time together, and the classic progression, like the normal progression of friendship. I heard somewhere, I think it was on RealPod, some expert in friendship was talking about how it takes an average of 38 hours spent with someone to become a friend with them, to befriend them, and not just to move from acquaintance to friend. And I think, once again, there's this pressure I can put on myself a lot, and people probably put on themselves, to meet that person, have your planned things with them, and then all of a sudden be able to just be their friend and be able to call them up whenever and to just hang out with them. And I don't think it works like that, to be honest. I think that, like, friendship is so much more natural than that. Like, when I think about my friends from high school and friends I made now and friends I've just made at school and random events, those friendships sometimes happened by accident. It was someone in my class or someone who was a friend of a friend that I was like eating lunch with them in the cafeteria, and I ended up just being friends with them because I ate so many lunches with them. And I think about that and I realize that I didn't plan those friendships and they still happened. I think it's another idea of, like, it's the whole idea of, oh, I need to make XYZ happen. You know, I feel like people are feeling that way a little bit right now about internships and jobs and career paths, and obviously those are things you need to put work into, like friendships. You do put work into friendships. But I think sometimes trying to control those and plan them out, it doesn't just, like, take away some of the fun of it because you're stressed, but it's not always realistic because you don't know where you're going to make the best friends. For me, part of wanting to make new friends, I realized that I do want to go to some events for the clubs that I like. So, like, Real Greek Life, I'm in that, and I like it, but I wasn't able to go to a lot of meetings last semester. But now that I know that, you know, it is fun and it's a good club and something I enjoy, I do want to make sure I'm going to those meetings more because there are people there I want to become friends with. But at the same time, I'm not going to try to put pressure on myself to become, like, really tight with those people. If I do, that is absolutely wonderful, and I'm going to make that possible, like, I'm going to make the opportunity of the friendship by being at the meetings and spending time there. But also, realistically, I don't know who I'll end up actually friends with there, and that's okay. And I think that's just a message I'm trying to, like, instill in my own mind this semester, and that people like my wonderful mom have kind of helped me see, is that, like, it's very easy to put pressure on myself to be eating those meals with people and go to CCM events and find people I like and just make sure they like me. But that's the thing. I don't have to be liked by them. I hope that I find people that I like and that like me. But that's something that's going to happen naturally, and I can't really control a lot of that. And I think so far college has been, of course, about learning chemistry and bio, which I love. But I think a lot of it has been learning to let go of that pressure for things to work out because of me. And college has been about learning that things are going to happen how they're going to happen, and I can't control them. and I can do my best to be at events and club events and pay attention in class and invite people to things, of course, but also that no matter how hard I try, I can't make things happen like that. Some things are just natural, and that's okay. So I don't know if people are feeling like that. I know that I've heard people say that before, but I don't know. I've never heard someone vocalize it like that. I find that usually when I'm the most stressed, it's because I'm the one putting pressure on myself to have something be right or perfect. And in reality, sometimes I'm just going to be lonely, or people will be lonely, or I'll be stressed by school. And the coming to the other side of not being stressed about that usually doesn't come from finessing the situation. It just comes from letting go and realizing that sometimes things are going to suck for a little while. And it's not because I'm doing something wrong. It's because I am doing everything right, and it still just is sometimes that situation of things sucking. And that's okay. So, was this just me verbalizing this for myself? Probably, but maybe someone else out there is feeling pressure on themselves to have friends. Well, not have friends, but just to be like the one pursuing friendship all the time and making things happen. When in reality, sometimes things just happen how they happen. This is not by any means a new concept, but sometimes you just need to verbalize things for them to really click and to be able to let go of them. Yeah. I also like that in Real Pod, they were talking about how a lot of friendships sometimes isn't, like, the vulnerability of friendship doesn't have to be about, like, you telling people about something in your past. It can just be about, like, giving them a chance to become your friend. Like, it can be vulnerable to invite someone to something. Really, it's just taking any kind of risk. So I think what I'm saying is that friendship has to happen naturally, but if you're going to, which you should like put effort in, but that effort isn't necessarily going to follow formula. It's really just however, what is vulnerable to you and like taking a risk for you. And it can look different for everyone. I just think it's nice to remember that there is no formula for it. There is no right way to do things. And to almost totally change the topic, I want to talk about on versus off-campus housing, because this is so much more complicated than I thought. I assumed that in college people just like stayed on campus all 4 years, and that was just the way it was because my older siblings, for the most part, had that at their colleges, but they went to smaller ones. But at Tech, almost everyone moves off campus their sophomore year. I'm staying in my dorm for another year, and then I have no idea what's happening after that. So I'm debating currently the pros and cons of on versus off-campus housing, because on campus, obviously, you're close to classes and food, which is great, and I like that I don't have to worry about things like maintenance fees, or at least they're like, it's all included. But then I think about how much I would love to host game nights and be able to cook in a kitchen, because you know what? I miss baking. I really miss baking, and not just like brownies and muffins, but just like baking like breakfast items, even the most boring things. It's just so fun for me to even like bake baked oatmeal and just like know that I've created something, and I miss that sense of like creation. And I want to be able to host people even for like a little Valentine's Day brunch. I was thinking about doing that this year because, you know, Valentine's Day is sort of coming up in a few weeks, and I was like, oh my gosh, it would be so fun to do something with my girlfriends. But like, I can't really host people in my dorm. It's got like a desk in it and a mini fridge, and that's kind of it. So I can, of course, like go off campus. We can get brunch somewhere, do all the fun little things, but I can't host people, and that makes me a little sad, because I also do think about college as a time when you can, you know, spend that time with your friends however you want, including just at your own place. But that's not really possible with Virginia Tech housing, because we don't have apartment style dorms like a lot of other colleges might have. So I don't know, that's a debate that I've been working on. If anyone else has figured that out, please let me know, because I know a lot of people are moving off campus, but also, like, how do you commute to class if you don't have a car? Like, do you have to rely on the bus or walking? But what if things are far away? It's a lot. There's a lot of things to consider there. Also finding, like, a roommate. Maybe you have to find 3 roommates because it's like a 4-person thing. The whole deal. It's a lot. Okay, the last thing I'm going to go into is IM sports. Those of you who have talked to recently know that I was a volleyball ref this past semester with Virginia Tech IM sports, and it was so fun. I liked it. I've never played volleyball myself, but I got to, like, just be part of the rec sports scene. And I'm not doing reffing this winter just because I'm busy, and the place that you have to go for it is, like, super far away, and it's cold, and I don't want to walk back from the rec sports area in, like, 9-degree weather at 11 p.m. But I do still want to be involved. So guess what they have at Tech that I didn't really realize what this was until so recently. But there's Battleship. I did not know how that worked until I recently saw it. It's like you're in a canoe and you just try to sink other ships. It's like you have a team of 3 and you're in a canoe, and I think people tend to use, like, buckets and they, like, fill other people's ships, and it's not a sport at all. It just looks so fun. So if anyone has played that before, please let me know how it is. It sounds so fun. But I'm really hoping to get into that for at least the few weeks that it's running. I think it's like a 4-week season, but maybe I'll be a Battleship person. We'll see. With that, we conclude my solo episode. It's a little shorter. I'll probably get back to doing a few more episodes soon-ish. Like, I have people I've talked to about episodes, but, people are busy, and I don't have my microphone with me, so I don't know. We'll just see how it goes. I make no promises, but I hope that I can record soon. So I hope everyone has a wonderful day. I hope that this maybe in some way resonated with you. Maybe not. Maybe you're just listening to this in the background while you do homework or something. But yeah, have a wonderful day. Goodbye.